All right, everybody. You can go, Bill.
All right. Well, welcome everyone at a little bit after 4:30 on Monday, April 13th. Hope everybody is doing well. And we'll go ahead and get kicked right off then. And as soon as I can let you, okay, never see the video. All right. The first thing we'll look to then is the minute approval from March 16th of 2020. Does anybody have any questions about those?
Hey, Bill,
Yes.
real quick. Sorry, we had to do a slight agenda modification.
Oh, I'm sorry. You
And
didn't
so
say that.
before we could do the minutes, if you could, a resolution I put up here.
I beg your pardon, Ryan. Yes.
No,
I can
you're
do
okay.
that.
You didn't know. This was Mitchell and I just did this last minute, but we're recommending that you guys adopt a resolution allowing for virtual participation for the meeting. And so this resolution just allows you guys to do that, which we're obviously doing. So if you have any questions, Mitchell can answer them for you.
Are we necessarily going to be in a position going forward, anytime we go virtual, that we'll be doing this meeting by meeting? That makes sense?
This is in response to the governor's executive order that says that you can have a virtual meeting for as long as the pandemic and the emergency executive order is in effect. So once that is taken off the table by the governor, then we'll go back to just our normal meetings.
So will we have to draft a resolution, close out this resolution, or is it just this is in effect until the governor pulls his?
Yeah, this resolution is only effective as long as the executive order is in place.
Okay.
So once the governor cancels it, then it'll swing back to your original rules and procedures the way they are now.
So theoretically, we'd have this in place again for next month if we need it or any other times. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. And then we'll look then for a vote then, Ryan, to verify that we're in favor of it. Is that what we need to do then, Mitchell, or Ryan?
Correct. Yeah, just a normal resolution where you have a motion and a second and then a vote.
Move to adopt it, the resolution.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Pull the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
And Bill, just for purposes of the virtual meetings, the boxes light up here when someone's talking, but when you do a motion real quick like that, it's kind of hard to see. So if you could just announce who made the first and the second, that way the record is.
Will do. Yes, thanks.
Do you want like a visual thumbs up as well? Like a...
We can do that. Okay, Ryan, and then on to the minute approvals, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Minute approvals have been presented for March 16th of 2020. Any questions or comments on those? I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 16th, 2020 as presented.
I second.
Okay. And then Mitchell, how do you want us to cover these then?
If you could just say a motion was made by Bill Reed and seconded by Jason Tuttle, I believe. Who was that?
Okay, and then that's all we need to do?
Yeah, and then
Okay,
just
got it.
call it for a vote.
Okay. You said we do need to call for a vote?
Correct.
Okay. So motion was made by me, Bill Reed, seconded by Jason. And then all in favor. So we just need to do, how do we require, I'm sorry, make sure I'm catching this.
Do you want me to go one by one, Mitchell?
Yeah, it might make it easier.
Just
We can
say
do
your
that,
name
okay.
and say if you're for or against.
Grant Niemeyer for.
Jason Tuttle for.
Andy Ottenweiler 4.
Bill Reed 4.
Okay, that passed 4-0.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Mitchell, do you want to do a roll call for us? That way you're.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, that way we're not.
Yeah, actually, that'd probably be better. That way we're not missing anything. Good point, Andy. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Oh. On to the current invoices. Any questions, comments on those? Ryan, just to verify, there are currently 5 I'm looking at here. We're not missing anything with that, right?
That's correct. Yes, you have 4 for American Structure Point and 1 for United Consulting.
Very good. Anyone like to make a motion for passing the invoice, approving the invoices in total?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Andy Ottenwiller motion.
Jason Tuttle second.
Bill Reed, 4.
Grant Niemeyer, 4.
Andy Ottenwiller 4.
Jason Tuttle 4.
Okay. Motion carry, I believe.
Yes, sir. Motion carried
All right.
4-0.
Very good. Thank you. Ryan, the County Road 100 South update. What do we know?
Yeah, I don't really have anything new for you guys. We are still continuing to work on the right of way. You guys probably should expect a discussion at the May meeting. Hopefully we'll be able to do it in person. If not, we'll probably have some updates for you guys then. We are continuing to kind of push the final design forward, and May will kind of be a decision point for us on whether we move forward to bid the project or not. So Greg Garitos is also doing a financial analysis for us to see how the current situation, how it may be negatively impacting our fund balances, and whether that will in any way impact our ability to move forward with the project. I will say we're having discussions about the timing of the project and whether, with everything going on right now, if that's the right decision for it to move forward. Our condemnation cases were supposed to be in April and May. And so we were moving forward with those timelines, but the courts are closed. And so as of the last thing we've heard, the cases were pushed back 30 days. And so there is potential if this continues that it'll be pushed back even further. So for now, we're kind of keeping along the path we're going, and we're trying to prepare everything to go out to bid as soon as possible. So
I think
that's
two
all.
of the, sorry, Ryan, I think two
Go
of
ahead,
the
Mitch.
properties are scheduled for a hearing date on the 28th of this month. And the other one has been continued till June. I do anticipate that the 28th hearing will be continued again, at least a couple weeks. But hopefully we can find a resolution before then.
Happy to answer any questions if you guys have them. Otherwise, we'll talk more about it in May.
Are you seeing in the midst of all this right now, Ryan, are you seeing people step up and not necessarily maybe knowing what the timelines of these projects need to be, but people thinking that, oh, easy enough to get stuff shoehorned in? Are you hearing a lot of that or not necessarily?
No, not too much. I mean, this is going to be interesting to see what happens with bids. Material prices have really dropped a lot, obviously with fuel prices. That makes it a good time for bidding road projects, but there's also a lot of uncertainty. So we're not sure what's going to be happening. I know NDOT has not stopped bidding projects, and I've not heard that other municipalities have stopped bidding projects. So I would be hopeful if we were to bid it that we would hopefully get some good prices. But again, with declining revenue, we're going to have to weigh that risk as well as a result of what's going on. So again, hopefully in May, Bill will have some better information, financial analysis, and then give you guys have this discussion and decide if we want to move forward or not.
Very good. Any other questions for Ryan in regards to County Road South 100 South update? All right, then, Ryan, I guess we'll move on then to new business, starting with the approval of the TIF annual reports for Hendricks Regional, Avon Landing, and the Avon EDA.
Yeah, it'll be a little hard to run you guys through these reports, but I know I provided them to you earlier this week to give you guys some time to look at. These reports were prepared by Greg Garitos and Financial Solutions Group. This is a requirement. We're required to do this every year, and we have to do it by April 15th, which is why we're doing this special meeting today instead of next week, because we have to adopt them. And Julie will kindly, if you guys adopt them, we'll upload them to the gateway. And we also have to provide the reports to the town council. They're pretty straightforward. They show our expenses that we've incurred over the last year. They show what our revenue was over the last year. It shows how we spent the money. And it shows what our fund balances is. It shows our outstanding bonds and has all of that information. As you guys know, we have 3 TIF areas. We have the Hendricks Regional Health TIF, which doesn't generate much revenue. It basically only has a subway. You will notice this year, if you guys recall the report from last year, the assessed value did jump this year because of the apartments, but it's only about half of the assessed value of the apartments because only about half of the apartments were built at the time they brought in that assessed value. So we will make a larger payment to Hendricks Regional Health this year, but it's still way below what their bond payment is. Avon Landing is the new economic development area that you guys created. It only has 2 parcels and they're both farms right now. So there's nothing very exciting about those. The assessed value is only about $150,000. And so that there's not too much exciting in that report because it's brand new. And then the Avon EDA is the largest area. That's the main town of Avon TIF district that basically runs along US 36 and down to 100 South. And so again, that's pretty standard. It looks about the same as it's looked the last couple of years. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have them, or if I need to pull up the reports, I can do that as well.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the TIF annual reports as presented.
I second it.
Bill Reed, I'm voting for.
Jason Tuttle 4.
Grant Niemeyer, 4.
Andy Ottenwiller, 4.
Okay, it passed 4-0.
Okay, thank you for that.
And then Brian, just a reminder to submit that to the town council by the 15th, and Julie, you have to upload that on Gateway by the 15th as well.
I am actually going to approve it tonight, and I've already sent it to the town council.
Oh,
Great.
Thank you, Julie.
Welcome.
Okay, on then to resolution 2020-01, amending the declaratory resolution to add the Avon Landing allocation area number 2.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. So if you guys recall, in the LOI that that the Redevelopment Commission just recently approved with the Hageman Group for Avon Landing, part of that LOI was a request for us to create a second allocation area. And this is on the the east side of Ronald Reagan Parkway. There are 2 parcels that will make up the apartment complex. And so part of our LOI was that we would create a new allocation area that covered that area. The original allocation area, if you guys recall, that we created only included 2 parcels on the west side of Ronald Reagan Parkway. And those were the 2 parcels that were part of the old airport where the industrial development is. And so, and then you guys, the third thing I may remind you of is that we created the Ronald Reagan Parkway Economic Development Area, which was much larger than these 2 allocation areas. But since these are developer purchase bonds, we want the funds that are directly a result of this development to pay back the bonds. And that's why we've created these separate allocation areas. So out the original allocation area and this new allocation area that we're proposing to create, Avon Landing allocation area number 2, the revenue captured from these allocation areas will then go to pay back the developer purchase bonds for Avon Landing. This is the first step in the process, which is you guys doing a declaratory resolution. If you guys choose to adopt this today, then it will have to go to the Avon Plan Commission, which we tentatively have planned for the 16th, which is later this week. And then the Plan Commission will have to approve it as well, and then it will go to the Town Council. And the Town Council will have to approve the Plan Commission order. And then the final step is it comes back to you guys as a confirmatory resolution. Assuming everybody else says it's okay as well, then in May, you guys will adopt a confirmatory resolution, which will then create the allocation area. So this is just step 1. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, comments on resolution 2020-01?
So this is this is for that apartment complex across from Avon Landing, is that right?
That's correct. It's part of the actual Avon Landing development, but this was the apartment complex that's part of the development.
Is there trail access or parking for trail access? Or I recall we had some chatter about the church and trail access and stuff like that. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, there'll probably be trail accesses on both sides of Reagan. The church, if it does ever get built, is proposing to provide a trail access point. We actually approved a site plan probably almost a year ago now to build the apartments, but the developer has said that they're not going to build them right now because the cost of building them is more than what they can charge for rent. So they've said they don't expect to build the apartment complex right now. But in that development that we approved, they also had several trail connections from the apartments to the trails. So they will eventually have connections, yes.
So why do we need to approve it now then, if they're not going to build now?
Because we have to be able to capture the revenue. And so when we do this, it captures a base assessed value, which is as it is today before it starts developing.
Okay.
And so the developer, and for the financing for the developer to work, he needs the certainty that when he does start building the apartments, that he's able to catch that revenue to reimburse the cost that he's putting out for the bond. So that's why they want it in, and that was why it was part of our LOI with them.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Any other questions, comments regarding resolution 2020-01? Anyone like to make a motion for its approval?
Andy, on roller motion for
I'll
approval.
second.
Bill, did you second that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thanks.
You got all that then, Mitchell, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Bill Reed voting for.
Jason Tuttle voting for.
Grant?
Grant Niemeyer, 4.
Andy Ottenweller, 4.
So it passed 4-0.
Excellent. Thank you all for that. And Ryan, other business, what else do we know?
I don't have any other information. I did want to share one thing with you. You guys will notice that Jim is not on the phone call, and he notified me that due to the current circumstances, he doesn't believe he's going to be able to continue serving. So I've asked him to send me an email resignation, but I think you guys should expect that we're going to need to appoint a new member to the RDC. So just want to give you guys a heads up on that. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Hey,
And
Ryan.
then I guess you'll just keep us, well, I guess we'll all know ultimately what our status is then for next month, huh?
Yeah, I'll be in communication with you guys about next month, and worst case scenario, we'll do it like this again. Best case scenario, we can meet back at the town hall and have a meeting.
And real quick, was everybody okay with not having Greg in as part of this? Because I know most of us have seen the reports and have a pretty good handle for what we're looking for.
I'm
And
okay
then-
with Greg not being here.
Right. And Ryan, just for the record, I think for most of us, these days are all kind of flowing into one right now. Ben, what you're thinking of or whatever. When's the most recent time we've had him at one of our meetings? I've kind of lost track.
Gosh, I don't know. It was probably last year at the annual report presentation to all the other taxing entities. That was probably the last meeting he participated in.
Okay.
Was probably in October or November.
Okay.
So you may see him in May if we are going to recommend moving forward with the financing for 100 South.
Okay.
You may see him at the May meeting because that may be a little more in-depth financial discussion.
Okay. Very good. All right. Anything else, Ryan, that we need to be alerted to or for at this point?
I don't think so, unless you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys doing this. I know it's a little unusual, and thanks for communicating with me and getting it all squared away.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Setting it up.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for keeping this going, Ryan, and keeping us all in the loop. That's a good thing. And at this
Good.
time then, if there's no other question or comments, I'll motion that we adjourn.
Sec.
Anything else we need on that, Mitchell?
I could third it if necessary.
I'll even fourth it if we need to.
Nope, you can just adjourn the meeting, Bill.
Okay, we'll call it adjourned and stay safe, everybody, and we'll look to see you hopefully in person next month, if not before.
All right, great. Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thank
Stay
you.
healthy.
Thanks.
All right, you too.
Thanks. See you
Thank you.
guys.